And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share. No one.
But how the devil are you? You're all looking well. What have I got for you this week? A few surprises. We have a great one. We have, do you want your old lovey washed down? We have what Deck got up to last month. We have the old video diaries, and this time from December 2018. Nice ones of Con as well. Then we have a surprise. I won't tell you what I've been doing. I'll tell you in a minute what I've been doing, but I've had a very, very exciting month. Hugely exciting month. And I have a surprise little video just to show you the results of that. Then, believe it or not, I've always said that Con and I didn't do a video of somewhere, and lo and behold, I found it. I found it, and I've got it, and I rescued it, and we're going to play it today. Then we've got the birthdays, of course, and then we've got, this is another surprise. Some of you may have seen the emails I sent out to most people about Benny Hill. I didn't realize Benny Hill was such an avid fan of ours. And he was always doing these, what he called Spatchelors videos. A friend of mine was sent one just by accident, and he sent it to me, Jeff Grace. So I sent it out to everybody, copied it and sent it out to everybody. I found another one, and this one is hilarious. Then we've got Stay With Me, is my favorite. Oh, there's Linda Cooper. Isn't that lovely? Stay With Me is my favorite of all the Bachelors videos we've done. I think it's a proper pop video.
Yeah. My name's on there. Yeah.
There we are. I'm going to mute everybody in a second. And then we're going to say goodbye with Panis Angelicus, which I've been telling everybody about. 57 voices, 64-piece orchestra, chorus, 5 guitars, and all done in Stanton Prior Studio. So it's good. So listen, Carol Furs, would you like to do the mute all? Because we haven't, and you can hear people interrupting us. And there's Janet coming in from Thunder Bay. There she is. So, Carol, would you do 1, 2, 3, mute all, please?
1, 2, 3, mute all.
And then we have to listen to the silence. What do you think of that silence? Isn't that wonderful? So I think we've got everybody in nearly at the moment, hopefully. So let's get on to what Deck got up to last month. What did you get up to last month, Catherine Coates? Go on, tell me.
Yeah, well, I missed the last months because I was away down south visiting friends and family. Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex, Hertfordshire, Lincolnshire, Nottingham, and then back to Leeds. So I did it all in one, which was quite tiring. And then I went up north as well. And then I've got to go up north on Thursday as well. So I've spent an awful lot of time in the car. And all the driving, when you're sitting, then you're visiting people, you're sitting in the house. So I got no exercise either. I was very stiff when I came back home.
That's lovely. I told you about me and what I got up to last month. Well, it was really, really exciting because my speaking career seems to be taking off worldwide. I represented Dnipro Hills, which is a club in Kiev in Ukraine. I represented them in the European Championships last Saturday. Guess where I came? Nowhere. But I enjoyed myself and they were so grateful, and wait till you see what they sent me. I'm going to play that in a minute. Well then, joy of joys, you won't believe this, nobody will believe this, the UN, the United Nations Commissioner, High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, got in touch with me, and they want me to speak to a load of refugees at university in Malta on this Thursday on the subject of debating, to teach them how to debate. When what an honour, the United Nations, for goodness sake, asking little old Deck, the Bachelor man, to speak to the world. I think that's, what an honour, what an honour. The only thing is with those things, and I say this to everybody, when you get past, say, 65, 70, everybody thinks you don't need any money. So nobody gives, they're asking me to speak to all these people, no money at all. And the BBC have been on to me, they have, in the middle of doing a film of the life story of Lena Zavaroni from a subtly different angle. And of course, I'm the man, I was there all the way through, and they've got in touch with me and they want me to film some stuff up in London, 2 weeks. No mention of money whatsoever. So if I return email to them, the first line was, what is your budget? And to anybody like Chris, a businessman, you will know that phrase, Chris, won't you? What's your budget? That's the opening line all the time. That means that you want money. But there we are. So we'll see what happens. But just have a little look at this. This is, I think, quite amazing. I did this thing for Ukraine, and I'm here to tell you they are the loveliest people under the sun. You would not believe there was a thing going on in Ukraine. Just have a little look at this. And here we go, something has arrived for me. I know something is coming, but it's arrived. So let me see what is in here. Oh, look at this. Certificates. Participation. Oh, look at this. Tall Tales. First place in the Dnipro Hills. Speech contest. Oh, participation. Okay. International speech contest. People's choice. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh, wait now. Oh, yeah. International. Oh, no. Here we are. Evaluation speech contest. First place. International speech contest, second place. Why didn't I come first? Halloween party, the best costume. The best costume. And what have we got here? Oh, we've got a lovely bag. Oh, look at that. Isn't that lovely? Dnipro Hills. What have we got inside the bag? Oh, look at that. Isn't that lovely? Shortbread with icing on. That's lovely. That's lovely. Thank you. We've got, oh, a lovely placemat. And, a lovely, isn't that beautiful? And chocolates inside, and they look like handmade chocolates. I want to thank everybody in the Dnipro Hills, in Kiev, in Ukraine. I think you're the most wonderful people. I'm so pleased to be part of the club. I love the club, as you know, and I admire the people of Ukraine. When I go to that club, it's as if there's nothing going on, and we know there's the most unjust war I think history has ever seen. I think it's disgusting. Most people agree with me. It's disgusting, it's disgraceful, should never happen in this day and age, but there it is. And I admire the people of Ukraine because you act as if there's nothing going on, and it's lovely. So listen, thank you for all this. I'm absolutely shocked. It's lovely. Thank you. Bye. So, Janet Fuchek, put your camera on there, Janet.
Oh,
Tell
sorry,
us,
Jack.
tell us a little bit about what you know about me and Ukraine and Dnipro Hills. Go on.
Well, Deck is taking his Toastmaster journey internationally, and
Your
he's.
camera's still not on, Janet.
Oh, sorry, I'm not really in a good space to
Oh,
do that.
she always says that, folks.
But
She
I
always
wanted.
says that. Oh, I haven't done my hair. Oh, I've just been out for a jog. Oh, I've just been out in the snow. Oh, my goodness me, the Huskies have just ruined my hair. Okay, Janet, go on.
Well, Deck is an accomplished speaker, and he's introducing his culture to the people around the world at the various clubs, and he, in turn, I'm sure he's learning some cultural points himself. He's a great mentor and impresses us with his tech knowledge and speaking and leadership qualities. So, Deck, fantastic that you get involved in all these clubs, and I do hope other people might consider Toastmasters as well, following in his footsteps. Back to you, Deck.
Oh, lovely. Thank you very much, Janet. And you know why I ask people to speak like that? It's so I can get the next video ready. And I mean, I appreciate what you said, Lynn, about every time you turn on Zoom, they've changed something. I've never known a piece of software like it. I'm supposedly an expert, and it catches me out all the time, non-stop catches me out, because they're forever changing. But that, if anybody's got any influence in Zoom, the idea that you've got to click 13 buttons to play a video, to me, is crazy. It is lunacy. Now, anything else, YouTube, you just press the button and it plays, am I right? In Zoom, you've got to jump through hoops. I wish the people of Zoom would just understand that and have the protocol. You just press the button and it works with sound and all the rest of it. But here's a lovely bit of business that Con and I recorded when COVID started first, and I was really at the forefront, thank goodness, of recording and presenting stuff on Zoom up and down the country, or all over the world you could do it. Everybody else was fumbling around. Nobody knew how to do it. And I sorted it out with Con and with the help of the Zoom people. But they didn't listen to everything I said. But here is a lovely one. It's an Irish one, and I absolutely adore it. But this is using all the technology of Zoom when it all started. Here we go. We've got one special treat because...
Lobby.
No. Have we not played Lobby?
No, you haven't.
No, we haven't played Lobby. Oh dear, oh dear. We've been working on this for a week now, and I'm sorry about this being so ad-lib. You talk about it, Con, while I get it up. Yeah?
Well, it's one of our favourite Irish songs, actually. Do you want your old lobby washed down?
Yeah.
It was in the hard times in Ireland when it's sort of like the COVID thing now. And nobody had any work, nobody had any money at all. And the only way you could make a few bob was go out and wash somebody's lobby or entrance hall, as to say, you want your old lobby washed down? I give us a few bob for that. And that's the way people made money in those days. And they're still doing it today in this lockdown situation. And because I've got a window cleaner, comes once a month, and he cleans all my windows for me on the outside. I have to do the inside.
But here is the great, 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 great song that we've spent all this week getting ready for you. And here it is.
One, two, three, two.
I've a nice little cot and a fair bit of land and a house by the side of the sea. And I care about nobody 'cause I believe that nobody cares about me. I'm fairly annoyed and I'm really destroyed by a lassie who lives in the town. She smiles every day as she passes my way. Do you want your old lobby washed down? Do you want your old lobby washed down? Sunshine, do you want your old lobby washed down? She smiles every day as she passes my way. Do you want your old lobby washed down? Sunshine! The other day the old landlord came by for his rent. I told him no money I had. Besides, it wasn't fair for to ask me to pay. The times were so awfully bad. He felt discontent at not getting his rent, and he shook his big head with a frown. Says he, I'll take half, but says I with a laugh, do you want your old lobby washed down? Do you want your old lobby washed down? Sunshine, do you want your old lobby washed down? She smiles every day as she passes my way. Do you want your old lobby washed down? Sunshine! Now the boys look so bashful when they go out courting. It seems that they look very shy. And to kiss a young maid, sure they seem half afraid, but they would, if they could, on the sly. But me, I do things in a different way. I don't give a nod or a frown. When I go to court, I says, here goes for sport. Do you want your old lobby washed down? Do you want your old lobby washed down? Sunshine, do you want your old lobby washed down? She smiles every day as she passes my way. Do you want your old lobby washed down? Sunshine, do you want your old lobby washed down? Sunshine, do you want your old lobby washed down? She smiles every day as she passes my way. Do you want your old lobby washed down? Sunshine! Oh, listen, I enjoyed that. But listen, I didn't see I missed the applause. Where's the applause? Where's the applause? Where's the applause? Look at that, Con. They loved you. They loved you. They loved you. You're still up there, you know. You're still up there looking down. Oh, that's wonderful. But I actually adore Chris. Do you like those Irish songs?
Yeah, certainly do. Love them, and periodically play the album. I think it was called The Irish Songs, The Way We Sing Them, that you did
correct.
many years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, love all those Irish songs. And just listening to that made me think, you know, it's time we went back to Ireland again, because it's a place we love, and particularly Dublin and the south. And yeah, maybe we'll look at that later this year.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's lovely. Good. I'm glad you like that, Chris. Well, the next thing, obviously, is the old video diaries. I love watching these, putting them together, and I see what we all got up to in 2018 when we were all sane and we were all healthy and having a good. I think everybody had a few bob then. What do you think, Chris? Nod your head if you think everybody had a few bob then. Yeah, we did. Listen, if the Labour government gets in, nobody will have a few bob, that's for sure. I can tell you that for a fact, because I have lived, and Chris is the same probably, I have lived through 5 Labour governments, and every single one of them was a disaster, and everybody ended up broke, and the country ended up broke. And then unfortunately, the Tories had to come back in and clean up the mess. And to clean up the mess, of course, you got to institute all this austerity all over again. Everybody hates you again. But please, if I'm not trying to influence people, but be sensible. My goodness me. As I say, I've lived through 5 Labour governments and it ain't funny. Let's get on and see what we've got. We've got the video diaries. There we are, and everything is ready, everything is set, and here we go.
Ah, yeah. I like it. Yeah, swing it, baby. Come on. Hey, Chicago, Chicago, that toddling town. Toddling town.
Yeah, I'm in the garage. Got 2 outside lights. I'm just going through the door here into my man cave. Through the door. We've got hangers there for tools and all my tools. That's my wood saw. We're just putting an edging on the tops here at the moment.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Stops you getting splinters.
Yeah.
And
There's my electric drill and my other saw. The vise which we're just putting on at the moment. My other drill.
so the next video is going to be a completed workshop.
And then in there's the garage.
Got some wood in the thread, that's why he's catching.
Ah. So now the job's nearly done. We now have a nice vise in place.
Very sturdy.
Very sturdy. So we're ready for action now. Cars in there in the garage part. More shelves over there for storage. It all needs to be sorted out. But we'll get there in the end. Oh. There we are, the vise is all in place. Job well done.
Not going anywhere, that.
Well done. Done my best.
And I came in about an hour ago
Yeah.
and started taking over.
So there we are.
Getting ready now to go for afternoon tea at the Lansdowne Hotel. My little daughter, granddaughter, Layla, has got very fond of afternoon tea with Grandad since we went to the Grand just before Christmas. So we're trying out the Lansdowne Hotel today. This should be very interesting. They specialise in afternoon tea with vintage crockery. Should be interesting. I think the hair is a bit wild. I'm going to have a little go at my hair, get it sorted out. What do you think? Well, here we are. Where's she gone? Where's she gone? Where's she gone? Nice books? Now, the cucumber sandwiches look delightful.
We're not going to eat them.
As do the roses. The Prosecco is nice, it's lovely. And Layla's having chamomile tea. I'm having English breakfast. Loads of clotted cream for those gorgeous scones, which actually look better than. You don't think they look better than the Grand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grand had
I
it.
think they look better than the Grand, and you don't. No? You like it like that? You like it that way?
Nice.
Slightly warm.
The jam isn't.
It's very heavy. Not like a the scone you've got is not very heavy.
No.
And who ever taught you, madam, to lick your knife?
You lick the bit that isn't sharp.
Mmm.
Delicious.
This is gorgeous. So Layla and I have decided that we're going to give marks out of 10 for each place we go to for afternoon tea. The Grand so far has got 9 out of 10. Here we think it's going to be 7. Well, here we are. Con's house is now looking like an estate. He's got the new garage complex, greenhouse, and then of course the other side of the house.
Pre-dried, oh goodness, pre-dried drink out to eat.
Oh!
Off on our travels. Well, Deck is off on his way back home now. So he is. Got a long drive ahead of him. He's leaving Newhall, which is my house. And he's leaving my nice new garage and my greenhouse.
You worked bloody hard for those.
I did, yeah. So anyway, what's keeping you? Waiting just for you.
Bye bye. See you. See you soon. See you soon.
Oh!
So we're just recovering after the most amazing party last night, which was Michael's 50th birthday. Unbelievable.
Oh, it's fantastic, yeah. I couldn't believe it, you know, all the singing, the dancing.
And I've always got a alcometer in the car, which I always say everybody should have. It's compulsory in France, you know.
Oh yeah.
And it's now what, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I
is, yeah.
checked myself, and I'm still registering 26 milligrams.
Wow.
But I haven't had a drink for ages.
I know.
I hardly drink at all. You hardly drink.
I know.
Yeah.
It's bad for you, bad for your liver.
I know it is. Yeah.
So they tell me.
Well, there we are. So listen, from the depths of Yorkshire.
Yes, Elland, Yorkshire, Newhall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from
Him.
me. And it's goodbye from him.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ah, yeah. I like it. Yeah, swing it, baby. Come on. Hey, Chicago, Chicago, that toddling town.
Well, I'm here to tell you, Chris will know about all that stuff. The parties in Con's house were legendary. And my journey back to Eastbourne, I still remember it. I don't know whether anybody's ever done it, but when you got dehydration from having a few drinks the night before, I don't know how I got home. I honestly don't, because I'd got myself wrapped up stupidly. You saw the way I was wrapped up. So with the result, in a nice cozy car, I was obviously too hot. And with the dehydration, I had to stop so many times on the way home. But there we are. Adrian, you look like somebody, I think you would like a nice glass of malt, would you, Adrian?
Believe it or not, I don't drink alcohol. Not for a living reason, not for anything. I don't like the taste. I drink a lot of tonic water.
Yeah. Are you
Yeah,
going to lecture us now? No?
No, I've got no objection to anybody else drinking. I just don't like the taste myself.
Yeah.
I hate the effect afterwards.
Yeah.
As a student, I used to try to drink because everybody else was, and you felt that you had to, because otherwise I think you're stupid.
Exactly.
I got to about 23, 24, and I thought, why am I spoiling perfectly good tonic water by putting alcohol in it? So I just stick to the tonic water now.
Yeah.
A long
You know,
time ago.
I go through life and I've got an up and down relationship with alcohol. I like a glass of wine an odd time, like most people. And then I read all the warnings saying that you shouldn't drink more than how many units a week, and none of us know what that is. So none of us know what we're doing really. I went to a party actually at the beach in Eastbourne last night, celebrating 21 years together, two friends of mine. And it was a totally non-alcoholic do. And I think everybody hated it. But I'll tell you why we didn't like it, because it was imposed on everybody. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if you don't want to drink, you don't want to drink, that's fine. But if you go to a party and they say there's no alcohol, so nobody's having a proper drink, you feel a bit put out, but there we are. But that's lovely. And so let's get on now. I told you I recorded and did a video of myself singing somewhere a few weeks ago. You probably remember it. And I loved doing it. And I said at the time, I can't remember Con and I ever doing this. And then, lo and behold, quite by accident, I found it. And I'd like to play it for you now. It's really, really good, this one. And this is Con and myself singing Somewhere.
There's a place for us somewhere, a place for us. Peace and quiet and open air. Wait for us somewhere. There's a time for us someday, a time for us. Time together with time to spare. Time to learn, time to care. Someday, somewhere, we'll find a new way of living. We'll find a way of forgiving. Somewhere. There's a time for us someday, a time for us. Time together with time to spare. Time to learn, time to care. Someday, somewhere, we'll find a new way of living. We'll find a way of forgiving. Somewhere. Hold my hand and we're halfway there. Hold my hand and I'll take you there. Somehow, someday,
Aha. Aha. I have to play all that for YouTube. Yes. So what did you all think of that? Let me see. Can I review? Look at that. Con, I think your version is better than mine. Yeah, definitely better than mine. But anybody remember us singing that in a live show? Did you ever see maybe who'll I pick on? Lynn, go on. You must have seen us sing that so many times.
Oh yes, loads of times. And I remember there was a documentary on the television about you appearing at a venue in the Lincolnshire area, and you were filmed on there singing somewhere. And my uncle saw it, and he told me how much he loved it. He thought you brilliant. So I think that's to do with your agent at the time. It's his area, and I think it was to do with him that the documentary went ahead.
Oh,
I can't remember what
Yeah.
channel it was.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah. We had
lovely.
we were always having things like that happen to us. Film cameras, a whole film crew following us around, and sometimes they were laughably bad, and they never got shown. But the one thing about that song, Somewhere, I actually stole it. I always say I've never had an original idea in my mind in my life. Never have had, but I'm very, very good at taking things and making them my own and making them better. And I did that with that song. My wife is a great fan of Il Divo. And they sadly had exactly the same situation as with Con. Carlos, the great baritone, I don't know whether you know Il Divo, but the great baritone, who is the main guy of the whole outfit, he got COVID and exactly the same as Con, died in 4 days. From being totally healthy, exactly the same as Con. But the amazing thing was about that song is that every time we did it, we started those first few notes, we knew we were going to get a standing ovation in the middle of the act. And it's a lovely feeling to have. And I always say to people when I'm telling them or advising them about speaking on that, they say, how come you have no nerves? And it's from that idea that we knew before we started singing that song that I was going to get a standing ovation. And here's an amazing thing. The guitar solo in it, I think will go down in history as one of the most perfect guitar solos ever. It's so simple, but perfect. And that guitar solo got a standing ovation. Lynn will tell you, standing ovation every time. I could never believe that. I played this guitar solo and the whole audience would stand up and applaud. Crazy. But Lynn, you're on now. It's the birthday time. My assistant is standing here. She's lighting the candles. Oh, yes. Fresh candles. The cake is actually, where did we get the cake? Was it Fortnum & Mason's? It was, wasn't it? Last week in Fortnum. Went up to London specially for this cake. Go on, Lynn.
Well, it's Joan Curley's birthday today. Joan is your eldest fan. She'll be 87 on the 5th, actually. Ready to blow the candles out.
Happy birthday to you, Joan. Happy birthday to you, Joan. Happy birthday to Joan. Happy birthday to you. Doesn't matter. But that's lovely. So all we need now is for you to shout, Joan, and just go 1, 2, 3, if you would, please.
1, 2, 3. That's it.
That's the best ever. Joan, you're the best ever at blowing out candles. That's I think a big round of applause for Joan for blowing out the candles. I think you should all learn from Joan. Did you like that, Joan? Did you enjoy it? Yes? Oh, that's lovely. So listen, where are you? I don't know the lady sitting beside you, Joan. Lady, your name is?
I'm Linda. So we're in Solihull.
Oh, and Linda, tell me all about what's going on. Go on, tell me.
Well, you came last time we saw you we saw you at the Dove House Theatre. When you
Brilliant.
came to the Dove House.
Yes.
So my son does a show there. He does pantomime there every year. So, and then we go there and she'll go, oh, we saw the Bachelors here.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's
Nice
brilliant.
memories.
Yeah. Well, listen, enjoy your birthday. Have a lovely time. And from all of us, happy birthday. That was lovely.
Thank you very much.
We now get on to a very funny thing. I told you that my friend Jeff Grace, somehow or other, somebody knew that he was a friend of mine. And they sent him this link, a link to a Benny Hill video. So that started the whole thing. And I did a search and put into Google Spatchelors Benny Hill and Bachelors Benny Hill, all the usual stuff you put in. And lo and behold, this came up. I've never seen it in my life. I don't think any of you have ever seen this, but have a really good look at this.
The Spatchelors! I saw Colleen, she was in O'Reilly's bar, drinking a pint of Dubonnet and smoking a big cigar. I said, are you going to have another one in me Irish buttercup? She said, oh no, it's just the way me coat is buttoned up. The last time that I saw her, she her baby in a pram. I thought I'd stop and chat, cause that's the kind of a fellow I am. I said, isn't your baby tiny? She said, now less of your cheek. Of course me baby's tiny, cause I've only been married a week. Colleen, my heart's aching for you. Colleen, my heart's breaking for you.
Oh dear, what did you think of that? I mean, that is. How did anybody watching this on screen now? Did any of you ever see any of those? Put your hands up, anybody? Nobody. Isn't that amazing that none of us saw? I find Margaret, you must have seen. Have you ever seen any of the Benny Hill ones? No.
I've seen Benny Hill when he came to the theatre in Skegness, but I wasn't a great fan of him, so I didn't watch him a lot.
Yeah. Go on, tell us some more.
Well, he was just very demanding.
What do you mean? As from an audience point of view, or from were you involved in the show?
Yeah, I used to do the dressing room setup.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you thought he was demanding?
He was, yeah. He wanted postcards and stamps and all sorts of stuff in his dressing room.
Yeah. Do you think that was just to reply to the fans and being nice?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It was just, yeah. And he didn't like the postcards then, and it was just hard work.
I always stick up for my fellow people in show business because I hear that so much. At every party I go to or every function I go to, a lot of us have somebody coming up to me and they'll say, "Oh, I met whoever, somebody, and they were awful, they were dreadful." And they even say it about me. People will always say, "Oh, I remember you in 1964. We used to drink at the club over opposite the stage door in Birmingham." And I know exactly what they're going to say. And I always butt in and I say, "Oh my goodness me, you've just reminded me. Yeah, I used to get plastered drunk every night. And I remember one night, it may have been you, somebody had to help me out into the taxi and I got sick in the taxi." And they'd always say, "Oh, you remember." I said, well, it's very amazing because in those days I was a total health freak, playing squash every day, running, jogging, doing everything, and I never drank. But people adore saying nasty things about people in showbiz. I don't know why. I just don't
There
know.
used to be some really good. There used to be some really good people to put up for, and I mean, one of the people I always will admire was Jim Davidson.
No, no, no.
All he wanted was the local newspaper. Was all he wanted, and he did his whole act from the articles in the newspaper. It was absolutely amazing.
But isn't that strange, Margaret? Because Jim started with us in Gibraltar. He did the forces shows, and he's through his life a dear friend. And he's one of those guys in show business. He has to be nice to me, but he is certainly not nice to anybody else. And isn't it weird? The one person you pick on that I know for a fact is quite a nasty man, as Freddie Starr was, but Freddie is gone now. And again, Freddie started with us, so he had to be nice to me. Yeah, because I knew where all the skeletons were buried. And it's very strange you say that about Jim, but I went to a function with Jim, not with Jim. I was at Lakeside Country Club, about 3 years ago. And I went in, and Bob Potter, who owned the place, said to me, he said, will you talk to Jim? Nobody will talk to him. And there's a big green room bar backstage, fabulous bar. And I went in, and there was Jim standing right in the middle of the room, and nobody talking to him. So it's amazing. And then your experience with him is totally different.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, another person that was really very difficult was Victoria Wood.
Yeah, I don't know the girl. I saw her. The only person I've ever walked out of a show, I thought it was so bad. Somebody bought us tickets, Sandy and I, to when she was in London one year, a few years ago. And I went and we left at the interval. I thought that sort of I call it schoolboy humor. It doesn't suit me at all. No, I like the Mickey Flanagans, and I like the in-your-face comics. That's what I like. But you thought she was
She was on. She did have such a special diet.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
how were you involved with the diet?
That was the food she requested in the dressing room.
Really?
Yeah. So
how come we never got food like that?
Well, you obviously didn't request it. I was running all over Lincolnshire to find the food for her.
Really? And what theatre was this, Margaret?
It was on the pier in Skegness.
Really?
Yeah.
I played the pier loads of time in Skegness.
I know
That never got me food.
But you didn't request food.
We were too nice.
You didn't request champagne either, like Jules Holland.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Maybe I did it wrong all my life. We always had the reputation of being nice guys. And yet we had people saying very nasty things about us. But I've always gone through my life believing in that. If you have to be, I always say, to be a star in show business, you have to be nice. It's absolutely de rigueur.
You wanted fish and chips.
Was that it? Yeah. Oh, I remember. Yes, Skegness fish and chips. You're absolutely right. Yeah. But the only really nasty person I ever came across in showbiz, genuinely nasty, as a big star, was I think Jerry Lewis. Do you remember Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis?
Yeah, I never had any dealings with them though.
Big comic. We went to the States. Now his reputation came before him. He was taking over from Johnny, whatever his name, that did the Late Late Show, and he would give it over to Jerry Lewis or somebody like that, Sammy Davis Jr. for a few weeks. But we arrived along, and it was Jerry Lewis that had taken over. And I can still remember we were rehearsing with the orchestra. We were doing 2 songs, unheard of in those days, 2 songs, and we were doing the second one. And the MD suddenly went, "Oh, stop, we have to stop, we have to stop." And I said, "Why are we stopping?" And he said, "Oh, Mr. Lewis is coming." And I could hear this clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop coming down the corridor. And he walked in with these dance shoes on, with the entourage, and everybody froze. And everybody was terrified of him. And I got to experience him for the whole day. And then we did a Royal Variety show with him a few years later. And I have never seen anybody behave like he did with Sammy Davis Jr. Sammy Davis Jr. was absolutely gorgeous. Loved my mother, by the way. He loved my mother. And that Jerry Lewis, and it was Robert Nesbitt was directing the show. And he would not do anything that Robert asked him to do. He would say, "Mr. Lewis, could we please do this? Could we please?" And he just ignored him completely. And Robert Nesbitt was sitting down in the stalls directing the show. He had a microphone over the loudspeakers, and everybody was in the stalls. Huge, a Royal Variety show. And he said, "Mr. Lewis, in approximately 2 hours' time, the loveliest lady we have in this land, the Queen, will be sitting up in that box, and she expects to see a perfect performance from you. Could we please have your attention, and may we see what you are going to do tonight? Thank you." And he totally ignored him. And Robert Nesbitt, a mortal line. I've spoken to so many people who were appearing that day afterwards. And they remember him saying it. He said, "Okay," and there were 6 spotlights, 6 spotlights in the Palladium. I said, "Spotlight, tight spot on Mr. Lewis's face, please. Blackout stage." And that's what he got for the show. And his act that he did that night was a whole orchestra and funny things happening in the orchestra. So nobody saw anything funny that he did, because the spotlight was just on his face. I mean, that was the most amazing experience I've ever had. But there we are. Lovely to chat like this, Margaret. And we get all the Jevas and the Junos, as they say in our business. Do you ever see this? And do you know what ever happened to? But here, I believe, is the greatest video that Con and I ever did. I consider it to be a top pop video. I love it to death. See what you think of this.
If this world is wearing thin and you're thinking of escape, I'll go anywhere with you. Just wrap me up in chains. But if you try to go alone, don't think I'll understand. Stay with me. Stay with me. In the silence of your room, in the darkness of your dreams, you must only think of me. There can be no in between. When your pride is on the floor, I'll make you beg for more. Stay with me.
Stop share. Lovely. So let's see. Oh, now you're talking. Thank you. And Joan is applauding as well. Everybody's applauding. It's great. Look at that. I really do feel, folks, that is probably at the pinnacle of our career. That is, Con did it. What a performance. You probably remember it originally from Shakespeare's Sister. And it was Victoria actually recommended it to us. She wanted to record it, and when I started recording it with Victoria, she never finished it actually. Started to record it, I thought, my God, I think, could I convince Con to do this? And I convinced Con to do it, and he did it, and I enjoyed putting that video together. I mean, that was a lot of hard work, but I enjoyed it, and everybody loved it, and you loved it. That's great. So, listen, who have we not spoken to today? Let me see. Who have we not? We haven't said much to Chris, actually. Chris, did you think that we were right to perform that song? Or are you like a lot of Bachelors people, prefer us to do all the old stuff?
Well, obviously, everybody loves all the old stuff, and particularly the hit records, but it was always nice for you to try something new. And I always admired the fact that you did. And it was interesting when you played Somewhere 20 odd minutes ago. That was included, in fact, on your hit album of 2009, if I remember rightly. I believe The Very Best Of. Did you not put that track on there?
It was on there, I think. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, we really tried very hard to get record companies interested in it, to get a single release on that. But it's the old story, you know, when you've been around as long as we had, nobody was really interested in releasing a pop record done by two old codgers.
Well, talking of that song Somewhere, I remember going, as I did quite often, 3 times a year, probably on average, to nostalgic shows with your brother Con.
Oh, yeah.
And we went once to the Grand Theatre in Leeds, and on the bill was PJ Proby, and of course he had a big hit with that song, and I'll never forget him singing that. What a character.
PJ Proby, he was one of those self-destruct people. Get a lot of them, and it's usually the girls, Kathy Kirby and people like that.
Yeah,
absolutely on self-destruct, usually alcohol. They marry awful men, and the whole thing just falls apart for them. But I knew a lot of girls. Well, PJ Proby was one of those fellas. Very few, as I say. And I can always remember being invited as a, high-flying guest to I forget now where it was. It was in London somewhere, one of the big clubs in London. And I was sitting there, and there was this fella sitting in a big cowboy hat. Now, bearing in mind, we used to knock around with him all the time in the 60s. And he was a nightmare. He had this attitude of, I want to sing my latest song. Yeah? Now, he always reckoned that it was him that did the demos for Elvis Presley. That's what he used to tell me. Mm-hmm. And that Presley then imitated him. And that's how Presley made his name. That was his story. But honestly, he appeared at the Castaways Club in Birmingham. A friend of mine owned that, John Reeve, who's been in touch with me recently. And he put PJ Proby on for the week. And he just had #1 with Somewhere. And he wouldn't sing Somewhere in the act. He wanted to sing the songs that he wanted to sing. And John Reeve had to put up with the whole audience every night going berserk because he didn't sing Somewhere. Can you believe that, Chris?
Well,
PJ
knowing what we remember about the guy, I suppose I'm not surprised, really. It was quite controversial in his day.
Yeah.
And is he still around?
He died, I think, last year. Died
Right.
last year. But
Must have
I mean, that night I went as a special guest, and there he was, and the guy with the hat and all that. I turned around, and I just didn't recognize him. He looked a total and utter wreck.
Mm.
And he was a wreck, and well, that's the way he was. That's the way he wanted to conduct his life. So many people put many millions of pounds into trying to get him back. You know, there are a lot of people around like that, will do that. You're a big fan of preacher. I'll put up $1 million to do this. And they all lost the money, of course.
Yeah.
But let's get on now, Chris. We've heard enough of you, Chris. Yeah, this one, I've been waiting to play this to you with bated breath, because this is one of my bucket list things. I've always wanted to do this song, could never convince Con to do it, and I wanted to do the full Mufti. So I ended up, I've got it off by heart now, 57 voices, 64-piece orchestra, chorus, 5 guitars, and all recorded here in Stanton Prior by me. Oh, you know the way Brian Wilson created all the Beach Boys stuff? Well, I'm creating all the Bachelors stuff, and I've done it for years anyway. But listen, have a listen to this. This is my, whatever it is I'm trying to say, here it is. And now, what did you think of that? What did you think? Let's see. Oh, did you really like it? You really liked it. Margaret, you didn't like it. You're not clapping. Lynn, you have the last word. What did you think of that?
I thought it was brilliant, and so much work must have gone into putting that together.
Yes.
I wouldn't
yes.
begin to know how to do it myself.
Don't even bother. Don't even bother.
But it's all you, loads of images of you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
it must have taken you ages to do.
Yeah, you have to have 70 years of knowledge to do that. I tell you. But I enjoyed every inch of it, every single bit of it. Which was the nicest bit that you liked, Lynn?
I liked all of it. I mean, the music was absolutely fantastic, and the setting and the whole thing was brilliant. But it's very clever the way you did it, as if you were with other people and it was all you.
That's right. Oh,
you should have put a beard on some of them or something different.
But I'm glad you like that Panis Angelicus. It is my favorite. I mean, my two favorite things of all time is They Stay With Me, which Con did, and that one which I did, which is a bucket list. That's the word I was starting to think of later. But the next one is going to be on the 7th of July, which is in 4 weeks' time. I've got the epic nearly finished, actually, because I enjoy doing it so much. When things in the music industry, when you get a great song and when you know what you're doing, like I hope I do, you just put your fingers on the piano and it works. You put a guitar in your hand and it was quite astonishing. Don't know where it comes from. I always say to my wife Sandy, I don't know where the ideas come from. So long as it's a good piece of music. And I found this song. Nobody suggested it to me. It just came to me. It must have been Con. And it's called Nobody's Child. I don't know whether anybody remembers it. I think Linda does. Nobody's Child. And it was the original hit record was by a very dear friend of mine. She was with our office with Dorothy and Philip Solomon, called Karen Young. And we toured in Australia with her and South Africa. She was a great, great friend. Married a very dear friend of mine, Peter Elliott. And he ran the home for old age artists, like Charlie Drake and people like that were all in there. And that's Brinzer's House. And that's what the Royal Variety Show is for every year. But Karen recorded, she only had one hit. And in actual fact, in real life, she was technically a dreadful singer. But a friend of mine, Tommy Scott, produced that record and somehow or other got her, this is pre all the auto-tune and all that, somehow or other got her to sing it properly. And it's the only hit she ever had. But I started to do it, and honestly, I'm here to tell you, everything fell under my hands. Guitar, I've got everything done. I just have to do I just did the vocals yesterday, and I just have to do the lead vocal today, and that'll be me finished, and that's ready for next time. So we're going to have an easy month, folks, an easy month. So there we are, the 7th of July. The replay will be with you hopefully tomorrow, as quick as I can do it, really. I don't have much editing to do today at all. Zoom behaved itself relatively well, and all the mics will be open. You can chat as much as you like, and look on YouTube, all our stuff. I mean, I'm amazed at the amount of stuff on YouTube, and subscribe to our channel, and then that way they will let you know when all the new stuff goes up. So wherever you are, have a nice rest of the day. Thank you for giving me a lot of pleasure. Thank you very much for giving me a lot of pleasure. I really enjoy doing what I do. You know that. You know that. So here is the end of the show, and it's goodbye from me and goodbye from me.